What a difference half a day makes. This morning, all the lights were bright, and we were celebrating Christ coming as King. We were participating with the people 2,000 years ago. It's unfortunate sometimes liturgically some things happen for good intentions, but then they have unintended consequences. So, for example, this morning, on Palm Sunday, the blessing of the palms, the procession and the blessing of the palms actually takes place before the liturgy starts. It takes place towards the end of Orthros. But in practice, many of the processions and these special blessings take place at that point. Unfortunately, sometimes we lose hope that the people will actually start coming that early for the service, and so we lower the bar and we say, okay, we'll move it to the end so that people can see it and participate in it, which sometimes is good. In this particular case, though, it kind of has an unintended consequence that, during the service, what's supposed to happen actually is that everyone comes for Vespers, and then everyone comes for Orthros and liturgy. And then in Orthros, toward the end of Orthros, we have the procession, we bless the palms, and then as Orthros is ending, just before we're about to start the liturgy, everyone comes forward and gets their palm crosses then, before the liturgy. Why? Because during the liturgy, we're waving them. We're waving them. When the entrance comes in, at all these points in the service, we're waving them. We're celebrating. It's celebratory. It's festal, but in the same way that happened 2,000 years ago. They were celebrating 2,000 years ago. They thought their earthly king was coming and that he was going to liberate them from these oppressive Roman tyrants. Jesus comes in. They have all this hope for him, all these expectations of what he's going to do for them. He is going to liberate them from tax slavery to the Romans. But what does Jesus do? We heard in the gospel today that he comes in and he severely criticizes the Jewish people. He severely criticizes them. The story about the withered fig tree, the wicked tenants in the vineyard, all of these are terrible, terrible condemnations of especially the religious leadership of the Jews at the time. And so they realized quickly that Jesus is not going to be what they expected him to be. He was supposed to help them out. He didn't do that. He came in and said, instead of blaming the Romans for everything, why don't you take a look at yourselves? That's where the problem starts. He puts the focus on them. He's not going to come with a legion and expel the Roman armies and deliver them their freedom. No, he's going to ask them, I have expectations of you. Not you have expectations of me. I have expectations of you to reform your ways. And the way that he's going to do this, as it unfolds during Holy Week, is that his hour has come. His hour has come. It is time now for him to suffer and die. And look how the mood changed. From this morning where we can imagine ourselves anyway, waving the palms as the entrance comes in, just as Jesus rode the donkey on that day. And with true celebration, the Jewish people welcomed him as a hero, but they did not yet understand who he was. They misunderstood him. And like the chief builders, the Jewish people rejected the cornerstone, just like it said in the Psalms. They rejected the chief cornerstone. Jesus came offering them something, but it wasn't what they wanted. It wasn't what they expected. And so they rejected it. They rejected his love. They rejected his offering. They rejected his sacrifice. And they said, get away from us. We don't want anything to do with you. The same people who this morning were celebrating him, a few days later say, crucify him. Crucify him. He doesn't do anything for us. This is Jesus' offering. This is the reception he got from his own people. I invite everyone to come and venerate the icon as we depart for this evening. And you'll notice this particular icon, if any of you were at the presentation on the Shroud of Turin, you'll notice a remarkable similarity. The posture in this icon that we always bring out in the Orthodox Church during these first days of Holy Week, and the Shroud of Turin, because it was modeled on the Shroud of Turin, is the most likely explanation. Sometimes you'll notice, even some of the icons we have here, that it looks like Jesus is coming out of a box, of a square, empty box along the bottom. Why would that be? Well, we know that up until 1204 in the Fourth Crusade, we have pilgrims who witnessed the Shroud of Turin being displayed during these holy days at the beginning of Holy Week, and that the Byzantines had constructed a contraption that was a square box, and they could mechanically fold up the shroud so that this much would appear from the waist. And people would come by. It was a reminder, it was put in their midst during the beginning of Holy Week to remind them, this is where this is leading. This is where it's leading. The people will reject him. He'll be covered with blood. Actual, real blood that you can see, that the people in Constantinople until 1204 could actually see and venerate. This is the reality of what's going to happen this week in his passion. So I invite you to come forward. I think the chanters maybe will sing something as we reverently venerate the icon. Thank you all for being here. God bless you. I hope to see you tomorrow.